Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Face to Face. I'm excited to be here talking with students, faculty, and staff innovators about what they're working on and how they're making a difference in the real world. My guests today are a true UC Davis power couple. They write together, they parent together, and they co-direct the Transformative Justice in Education program, whose mission is to serve those committed to disrupting social injustices in education by creating restorative, humanizing, justice-seeking teaching and learning communities. I'm so excited to have them here with me today. Welcome, Maisha and Torry Winn. How are you two doing?
We're wonderful. Thank you, Chancellor.
Yes, it's great to be here, Chancellor.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to be my guest today. I'm excited about this interview. Yes. Why don't we start with you just telling us about the Transformative Justice in Education program here at UC Davis, and how about this year's TJE Practitioners in Residence?
Thank you so much. So the TJE Center is a research center. We are equity-oriented researchers. We're designers and innovators, and we engage in humanizing research methodologies. My colleague Django Paris and I have written a lot about these research methods, and I teach graduate classes on these research methods. We have several ways that we interface with the UC Davis community. One is through training the next generation of doctoral students and also undergraduates. And we also have a practitioner in residence program that we're going to talk about. I'm going to see if Torry wants to add a little bit about the center, and then we'd love to tell you about our practitioner in residence program this year.
Yes, thank you, Maisha. Yeah, we are a research center, and that's so important to understand. We conduct research, as Chancellor said, we write together, we publish, and we're interested in ways we can improve our educational system. But it's important as researchers to apply those skills and expertise here on UC Davis campus. So we're just not researchers off campus. We want to provide activities for our students. So, for example, we use our research methods within our classrooms to create restorative and humanizing classroom spaces so our students can feel welcome, have a sense of belonging, and also to enhance their learning. And so it's just not the research that we do as a research center, but we also want to have programming for our staff and faculty and our students here on campus.
That sounds so great, and it's so needed, so I'm excited to hear about that. How about the practitioners in residence? What is that about?
Yeah, so our theme for the 2021-2022 year is Sacramento Futures. We're really interested in tying in our practitioners in residence with our work with Quarter at Aggie Square. So we have a team or a cohort of practitioners in residence, which include Maritza Davis, who's the VP of Experience for the Sacramento Kings. We have Rashawn Davis, who is the CEO of Unseen Heroes. If you've ever been to a Gather event in Oak Park, that is put on by Unseen Heroes, and Rashawn Davis is an amazing artist and innovator and musician. We also have Latrice Madkins, who is the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the B Street Theater in the Sophia, and has been instrumental in making sure she's bringing lots of different kinds of people to the theater space.
And the last two individuals, keeping it local, are two principals here at an elementary school in Oak Park. And the school is Oak Ridge Elementary, and the principals are Danny Roleri and Tiffany Wilson. And I've been working with them for the last 3 years. Maisha and I have conducted workshops with their teachers, as well as our students at the Quarter at Aggie Square has participated in an internship. So we're looking forward to keeping it local and bringing these practitioner residents here on campus and to meet and to gather with our students.
That's quite a lineup. I hope I get a chance to meet some of them as well.
Oh,
we
well,
would love that.
That's part of the goal.
Okay. Now, Maisha, you are a native. You grew up here at UC Davis and in Sacramento. So you must have seen so much both growing up and then working here. What's been the biggest change that you've seen over the years?
Wow, that's such a great question. Well, people who were here when I was here, which was 90 to 94, will remember this little area called the Bricks right outside Freeborn Hall. Chancellor May, this really preceded you, and this was an area where the African-American sororities and fraternities would step. It's where people would gather. It was a social space. It was where we would check in between classes. And I remember when they removed the bricks, it was really sad for a lot of us. But what's really nice is there's a distributed, I think, social space around campus campus. Like there's many more places to get together, to connect. And I feel like you see more parts of the campus because more of the corners are inviting. So that's something that I've really noticed about campus. I would also just say, wow, this new graduate center is incredible. That has gone up. I mean, I'm sure many people would have loved to see that when I was here the first time. I'm glad I get to be here and see it develop. The Mondavi Center and the events at the Mondavi Center, I think for so long, many of us would travel to Berkeley and go to events at their center, and to have our own really beautiful performance space and be able to hold jazz concerts and dance concerts is just incredible. So I feel really, really proud of those changes.
Those are all really big changes. The Bricks reminds me when I was a graduate student at Berkeley, there was a similar area called the Wall in Sproul Plaza where Black students would gather and all kinds of interesting social things would happen.
Yes.
So it's amazing how we have those similar experiences on different campuses. So I understand that you two have written a new book. Can you share what the book is about?
Yeah.
Yes, Restorative Justice in Education is published by Harvard Press. And we're excited about this opportunity for practitioners and educators to be able to read some of the practices that educators, professors, and scholars have used in their classrooms. Maisha and I are lucky to have worked with at least 20 different scholars from different institutions here at UC Davis to Stanford, all the way to University of Michigan. And it's basically it's around the 5 pedagogical stances: history matters, race matters, justice matters, language matters, and futures matters. And in each of those stances, each one is a chapter, and you have these authors, and they talk about why science matters within justice. If it's history, how does history matter when it comes to ethnic studies? And so for teachers who are struggling, are looking for different ways to make their content relevant to their students, especially during this time of COVID-19. And so we're excited that this is one of the first books that brings together the different practices around restorative justice, because there's a couple books written about RJ, but this is one that's comprehensive.
Yeah, and I just want to add that a few of our UC Davis scholars have contributed chapters. So Dr. Alexis Patterson, who's a science educator in the School of Education, with her longtime teacher, researcher, collaborator, Selena Gray, they talk about holistic science pedagogy and the merging of social justice issues with the teaching of science. And then we also have Elizabeth Montano, who directs our Candel EDD program, and she has a chapter on transformative justice in social studies.
Really good to hear we're going to have some UC Davis scholars highlighted in the book. And, you really resonated with me when you talked about the juxtaposition of science and justice, especially right now as we're dealing with vaccine hesitancy and all the things that are associated with COVID. So I look forward to seeing the book and reading the book myself. I'm also told that there's something called the Black Parent Survey Project. And as a Black parent, I'm curious about that one. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so this actually came out of an experience that we had. We hosted an event, co-hosted an event as part of the UCD Forums, formerly known as the Provost Forum. We brought Professor Sean Harper here, who is at the USC Race and Equity Center. And a woman waited to speak to us after the event. She introduced herself as a parent from Sacramento. And she told us this story of going to school with her son, African-American boy, during his senior year. And we thought, okay, she went to school with her son. That's great to check on him. And then she explained, no, I don't think you understand. I went with him to school every single day to make sure that he graduated because I didn't want him harassed and I didn't want him unfairly punished. And it was, a shocking story. So all this to say that we really became very interested in these different narratives and stories of Black parents who are contacting the center, wanting to learn more about how to navigate schools and tensions in schools. around school discipline policies and procedures. And so we designed a survey. We enlisted the University of Wisconsin Survey Center to make sure that our methods in designing the survey were sound. We are starting with Black parents in California of school-age children, preschool through 12th grades, and really learning about their experiences navigating school discipline policies and processes at their children's schools.
And one of our lead graduate students is Jeremy Prim. He's a doc student, and he's from California. And so this project resonates with him because of his experience growing up in the LA area. And so it gives him an opportunity to conduct some of these focus groups with us and to hear within these focus groups the experiences of parents. Our hope is that some of our findings, we can learn from these parents how to navigate some of the hurdles, the barriers within these schools, and for other families to use them as well.
It sounds like something that'll be a must-have for many of our parents in the community. So again, looking forward to the survey results, just like I am your book. You've got me excited about a lot of things here today.
Thank you.
And here's one more I have to know about. Historiography of the Future project?
Yeah. So Historiography for the Future is an archive that is housed in the Transformative Justice and Education Center. It includes primary source materials that are focused on the building independent Black institutions, IBIs in the late 1960s and early 1970s that were often Black parents' response to unequal or unfair educational experiences in K through 12 public schools. So among some of those documents are my father's papers. He started a school with my mother and many community members in Oak Park called Shule Jimamose, which is now the Oak Park Preschool. And we have lots of publications. We have a lot of amazing materials. And so our dream is to digitize all of these materials, make them accessible to UC Davis students. We use some of these documents for our classes. Students conduct documentary source analysis. They learn how to engage with primary source materials. And we want to create a culture of citizen archivists where we have our students being really interested in living history and bringing their own analysis and interpretation to the documents, and also being inspired to learn about the histories of the communities that they come from.
Sounds like a great opportunity for our students, for sure. Yeah. Now we're getting closer to the beginning of the fall quarter, and I want to know from each of you, what are you most excited about this academic year?
Wow. I am excited about seeing the students. You know, Maisha and I, we live for teaching. We are educators. We love our students. We love the students at UC Davis. We have probably the best students in the country. And so I might just start crying that first day of teaching, Chancellor, to be honest with you. And, you know, when I teach, I have sweaty armpits. And so that's when I know I'm teaching, and I cannot wait because I haven't been able to all summer. I've been waiting on this opportunity. So I'm waiting for the students. We as professors, we need them just like they need us. Right. We want to hear from them. We want to learn with them, and we also want to share our knowledge. And so I'm looking forward to the students. I can't wait. I've been working on my syllabus. And Maisha knows it's just something that I cannot wait for. What about you, Maisha?
Same thing. I mean, I've said many times that I'm looking forward to teaching in person. I think I was doing my thing on Zoom, but with that said, Quarter at Aggie Square was supposed to be in Sacramento last fall, and we're really excited about working with our Quarter at Aggie Square students in Sacramento. I can't wait to see them and to also make sure that they're seeing certain landmarks that we think are really important, making sure that they're having the really compelling experience of learning about Sacramento's rich history, and trying to really bridge that gap between Sacramento and UC Davis, not just metaphorically, but really doing it through exchange of stories, lived experiences. We have many students who live in Sacramento and spend social time in the Oak Park area, so we really want them to understand the foundation of which all of these sort of newer institutions there are founded upon, and understand the roots. So I think it's the inspiration, like Torry said, it goes both ways. And we have been missing our students just as much as they've been missing being on campus.
Yeah. So I have to get the plug in for Aggie Square. Can you tell the audience what Quarter at Aggie Square is?
Yes, I was hoping you'd say that.
I love it.
So the Quarter Aggie Square is an opportunity for students here on the main campus, thanks to the vision of you and other folks, to have an opportunity to go to Oak Park in Midtown to learn and to be together in Sacramento. And for example, our cohort, our experience is called Transformative Justice Studies. And we have 4 classes. Maisha's teaching 1. Lorena Marquez from Chicano Studies is also teaching. And I'm teaching 2 classes. And we have about 15 students. We also have, I think, 3 or 4 more opportunities for students. So if you want to apply, please apply. And
Our shameless plug.
Our shameless plug, right? And all of the students take the same classes together on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they have the 3 of us together, and it's an amazing opportunity. We did this last year, and it was so easy to write letters of recommendations for our students just because we knew them, they knew us, and it's an amazing experience. So that's what we're really looking for, the Quarter Aggie Square. I don't know if you want to add anything, Maisha?
No, that's perfect.
Okay, well, I'm going to call or email Torry on the first day of classes to see if his armpits were sweating.
I love it. Because if they're not, he wasn't teaching.
I wasn't teaching.
You weren't into it. That's right.
Nah.
All right. Well, next is a part of the show that we call our hot seat. And what that is I'm going to ask you questions that are conducive to one word or very short answers. So it's kind of a fast pace set of questions. It's only a few questions.
I think I'm sweating right now.
Please, I have to ride in the car with him.
Now, the questions may be controversial in your household. So the first one is, okay, in your house, who's the early bird and who's the night owl?
That's easy.
I'm the early bird. Maisha's the night owl. But Maisha lately has been waking up really early because of Peloton. She's been getting up really early, but she can stay up late. It's in her
quiet.
Okay, I understand. What's the coolest secret spot on campus?
Coolest secret spot.
Well, it wouldn't be a secret. That's giving it away, Chancellor.
How about just the coolest spot on campus?
The coolest spot.
I like going over, where we did family photos where we can see the horses.
Yes.
It's so quiet and beautiful over there.
At the horse barn.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just, I love that area.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite thing about the other person?
Oh. You can go first.
Torry has can-do spirit, and even when things seem really, really hard, he will find a way and make a way. And so pandemic partnering with him has been amazing because he's really been a rock. And anything that just felt like, oh gosh, this is really hard, he was like, we're going to make it. We'll be okay. So
that's great.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Maisha. Mm-hmm. And Maisha is the smartest person I ever met. And she is truly, because of her parents and because of her hard work, it's just to see her operate. It's like the smartest person I have ever met, as well as just a person with so much love to share with myself and our 2 sons. It's unbelievable to see how that her energy and her love is just shared with us all. So
we were supposed to do one word answers.
That's right.
Like, this is not Oprah.
I understand, Torry. You've got to score those husband points when you can. I've been there. I understand.
Look, if I would have just said one, then Maisha would have like, you just said one thing about me. So I'm just trying to get ready for the ride home.
Okay. Well, this one might not help. Who's the better cook?
Oh, Maisha's.
That's not
okay.
We're not even.
Not even. I can make some good oatmeal. My son said I made some good oatmeal.
This just happened last week.
That just happened last week. But Maisha by far,
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that was easy then.
That's easy.
Last one. Biggest surprise to come from time at home during the pandemic?
The biggest surprise for me is Maisha and I, we always wanted to homeschool our kids in some type of way, but we could never figure out that way. But to have Obasi and Zafir home for a year and a half has been a gift to us. And that was the biggest surprise, just because it was just an amazing experience.
Agreed. Same.
Having the kids at home, special. Yeah.
Very
Okay.
special.
That's the hot seat, but now it's your turn. You can ask me any question you would like, and I'll try to give you a good answer.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm in love with this theme, outgrow the expected, that you challenged our campus with. I use it sort of as my mantra with all things UC Davis. And I was hoping that you could talk a little bit more about where this came from, what it means to you, and how you think our school community, our campus community has outgrown the expected.
Sure. First, I'll just say the theme came from a pretty rigorous branding exercise, so a lot of people contributed to it. But I'll say what it means to me. And the outgrow part kind of takes us back to our agricultural roots on campus, growth. And the expectations, when I came here, I said UC Davis is suffering from what I called pathological humility, which means we're good, but we're so humble that we don't want to share it or brag about it, and we expect other people just to notice it. So the expectations were set at a level that I thought could be improved. So I think the whole theme of outgrowing what's expected of the university is a powerful one that I hope resonates with not just our internal audiences, but certainly our external audiences.
I love that. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you, Chancellor, for that. Chancellor, when you first came to UC Davis, we were excited for several reasons. One reason is because your mother is a former educator in the St. Louis area. Right. And being in science and being an engineer, you're a man of many talents, but to know that you are your mother was an educator resonated because we are from the School of Education. So what are some of the lessons you learned from your mother as she was an educator? What were some of the lessons you saw her at when she taught or when she was around her students?
That's a great question, Torry. I take a lot of who I am from my mother, of course. And I would say from an educational standpoint, discipline is a big one. She was checking my homework and my sister's homework every night. First of all, making sure we did it and then checking it, right? And we had to do that before we did anything else, right? And I would also say work ethic. You know the life of a teacher. She not only was putting in the hours in her classroom, but she would come home and she's doing lesson plans and she's making projects and she's doing things for her kids. And we would also, my sister and I would often, if we had a day off, we would go with her to school to see her teach, which was always a treat. And you could really just see that work ethic. And you could also see how much her students loved her. And I'm not just saying that because I'm her son. They would be beaming and looking at her and just, taking it all in. And we would see them in the grocery store or the department store, and they would run up to her and say, "Mrs. May, I remember when I had you in kindergarten, and here's what I'm doing now." And it was just really heartening to see how much the students developed that rapport with my mom.
Wow, that's beautiful. We also know that you have two amazing daughters, and when we're looking at your social media, we're thinking that maybe they might help you a little bit. You're very savvy with social media. So we're curious, are your daughters part of your social media team? Do they advise you? We need some information on that.
That's funny. Full disclosure, the only reason I'm on social media is because I wanted to monitor my daughter's behavior when it was new, right? When Facebook was new, I was like, what are they doing? I got to get on here to see what they're up to. And I made them friend me. But they're smart enough to know they could develop different identities that I didn't know about.
I was going to say, come
that
on,
didn't last
Dad.
long. They're much smarter than me. But they are critics of my social media, I would say. My daughter Jordan especially, she says, "Dad, your captions are just boring. You need some better captions." So they keep up with me, but they don't necessarily critique or edit too much.
Okay, so captioning workshops are
I need to work on
here.
my captions.
I bet you there is a whole caption workshop culture somewhere,
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Probably.
We just need to see you on TikTok.
I have done one TikTok.
Just what?
I wasn't dancing, but Jordan,
Okay.
Jordan and my wife Lachelle and I did a TikTok where she was basically, they were asking which parent does this, which parent does that, and she would point to us, and it was
Oh, I love it. That's great. That's
pretty easy
great.
for
well,
us.
we love Thursday Thoughts with Lachelle May, and
Thank
she
you.
is a better dresser. I'm sorry I have to tell you that.
Well, I often say that 4 years ago, UC Davis successfully recruited Lachelle May, and I just came along with the package.
That's right. That's right.
So, Chancellor, we have our last question for you. Okay. So, I believe it was your first or second year we had the fires. And then the last year was COVID-19. And this year you have the fires and COVID-19. So, as a chancellor, you've been through a lot. But during your time, we want to know, what are your most proud moments during this time as chancellor?
There have been a lot of proud moments, Torry. I would say, first of all, I just want to have a year with no drama. So I don't want any wildfires, COVID, nothing else. I'm hoping for that sometime in the future. But I'm proud of, I think what has happened is the way that the community views UC Davis has changed. And I say that because of activities like Healthy Davis Together here, where we have become a resource and an asset to the Davis, City of Davis and Yolo County in providing the free testing and all the things we're doing around COVID. And I want to see that same result eventually when Aggie Square is done. We talked about quartered Aggie Square, but I want to see the community in Sacramento beyond the medical center and the things that we're doing for helping keep people healthy. I want them to see UC Davis as an asset to the community in Sacramento as well, and that's just getting started with quartered Aggie Square. But when the project is finished, I want the people to see Aggie Square as a place where they can get workforce development training, and they can come and do entrepreneurial activities and really improve the quality of life in that community. So I'm hoping that we get that same result there.
Well,
Thank you, Chancellor. We're proud to be part of this vision that you and others have. And so just thank you for that.
Yeah. And as a native daughter of Sacramento and Oak Park, I'm really proud of that work that you're lifting up and proud to be a part of it.
Well, thank you both. This has been a great conversation. I've enjoyed it so much, and it's been very easy and fun. And also, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time on Face to Face, and in the meantime, go Ags.